through some wrapping up some other sports. So UFC was, boxing. Let's go with boxing first.
Go boxing first.
We had last night NRL legend Paul Gallen taking on former heavyweight champion Lucas Browne. Ended up being a bit of a non-event. There were a lot of animosity between them coming into this. A lot of bit talk, about one being soft and pussy, etc., and the other one being peptide Paul.
It's going both ways. Gal said he's a junkie. Essentially calling him out for...
I think Gal had most of the chat, and then Brown was like, I got to start talking. I had to back it up.
I've never seen Gal run his mouth like that. This is unprecedented in terms of, that pre-fight promotion, or was there actually some hard feelings between the blokes?
Yeah.
It's probably a bit of both.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. So they weighed in 117 and 102. So
15 kilo difference.
Big difference for Lucas Browne. Of course, in his favour, a much taller man as well. Gal 6 foot. I think we looked this up.
5'11".
Yeah,
I think that's what we come.
Basically
so
scraping 6 foot.
6 inches shorter than Lucas.
Yeah. So you were a bit worried for Gal coming into this.
I said it. I really thought that Gal might have bitten off more than he could chew in this.
Browne with a 29 and 2 record.
But before this fight, a legitimate boxer, not just a footy, and I'm saying this in inverted commas, footy player that's taken up boxing. He's 15 kilos undersized. He's taken on a former world champion. I was worried about big Paul Gallen here, and I'm happy to eat my words. I'm more than happy with the result.
Yeah, he came out and smoked him in the first round, knocked him down twice, and he couldn't continue. Hit him with a massive overhand right that came down on the where side of his ear, kind of behind the ear, which is a known kind of soft spot where you hit that.
Don't underestimate.
He's got some power.
Gal's power is legitimate.
Yeah, but some chat that came out today, of course, that Browne had barely trained for this fight, which
it looked like it.
Yeah, which is not. I think he was up there in age as well, and some chalk that's the end of his career. He should retire. He shouldn't look.
But there's only about 2.5 years difference between.
Yeah,
Gal's 39 and then some.
I think that what really showed here was the clear kind of professionalism. Gal, pro for many years, of course. I guess both have been
coming
pros
into his boxing career.
Yeah, exactly. He's applying his training regime and his history of success from NRL to the boxing world. As a prize fighter, he knows he's not going to be the best boxer. He's not going to go out there and fight Tyson Fury, but he's going to put on good boxing events and wants to name guys and I don't want to say it's his super, it's the nice little pay packet to finish up.
Yeah.
But he looked excellent in this. Browne, not so much. Browne's probably done. I think he was aiming for that. Is it Hooney? Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Justice Hooney.
Yeah, he's the current Australian heavyweight. So he was actually, they were looking at him versus Browne, but this fight was going to happen first. So maybe Gal gets that opportunity. Gal, of course.
I'll stop you there because Gal came up in his post-fight presser and he said, yes, Hooney might be an option, but he stated, and it's on the record, he wants to look after his family.
I'm a prize fighter. I'm not a professional boxer.
Yeah, I'm a league player and I'm pretty good at boxing. I'll take whatever the biggest fight is, and it's probably not Hooney.
But it's interesting you say that because there has been reports that there's a deal in place or there's terms of it for $2 million for Gal to fight Henny at Suncorp, which is a good pay packet. It's more than he made against Browne. Interesting. This was Browne's biggest payday, I believe, in his career. Of course, he won a heavyweight belt, but he's never been at the echelon. And the guys he fought to get that belt as well weren't at that same echelon as what, say, Johnson, Wilder, and Fury kind of were at.
Of course. It's
just
apples and oranges there.
There's different levels of this shit. There's been chat thrown out about Sonny Bill, possibly. Robert Whittaker as well, because Whittaker...
Really?
Yeah, Whittaker said some stuff on a podcast.
He'd be a lot smaller than Paul Gallen.
By...
15... 20 kilos, man.
Yeah, what's 185 converted to kilos?
God, sure.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
It's like
185.
It's 40 pounds difference, so it's 20 odd kilos. Let's say Robert's 80 and Gal's 100.
Roberts 84.
Yeah. Yep.
In the ballpark.
18 kilos.
Yeah. But Robert said some stuff on a MMA podcast a couple of years ago that, Gal's not a real fighter and Gal took that to heart. That's never going to happen because it's just dumb.
A lot can change in a couple of years, obviously.
Yeah. Jake Paul thrown out there, that's never fucking happening. But
Gal mentioned it.
yeah, of course Gal's going to mention it. That's a massive fight for him.
That's
You
his
get
payday.
paid.
God, you want to look after your
And-
family.
and-
Yeah.
Like Jake
And
Paul.
you, as a one-eyed Queenslander,
Yeah.
like I'm putting words in your mouth, but surely you'd love to see Gal fucking knock his lights out. Jake Paul's.
Yeah, well,
I know you're a Queensland fan,
yeah.
but
The way I'd say it, it's like they're both dickheads. Someone needs to slap them up. So that's
Gal, I don't like Origin aside, and I can see how that can polarize a bloke.
Yeah.
But from what Gallen's done in this fighting career, he's humble as fuck. He's taken on guys that you're like, dude,
this will be the one that beats him.
Like, should you be fighting Mark Hunt?
Yeah.
Should you be fighting Lucas Browne? Like, you got me questioning it.
Yeah.
And then you go out and then you just maul him. And I've got nothing but respect for.
well.
the bloke.
It was great content against Mark Hunt. That was a bit more of a back and forth fight compared to this one with Lucas Browne. Yeah,
Dude,
probably
he's
didn't train.
taken on someone that's been a professional boxer for years and years, and he's done it for like 18 months, and he's going out against guys that are so much bigger than him, and fucking smoking them. Like for me, like I'm a Dragons man and I'm a Blues man, so you'd love to see him, line up for the Blues. You hate to play against him week to week,
Yeah.
but I've got nothing but respect for the bloke.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't know a good Queensland side from a bad one, clearly. But I just want to let's go full circle. Give a shout out to Barry Hall and all this. Did take Gale to a draw, no winner in that.
I backed that, the draw, by the way. One of the best bets I've ever made in my life.
There you go. I backed Barry
that's me.
Hall because I
Sorry,
thought it was
that's
going to be
me.
really, really close.
No, enough about me, though. Let's talk about Barry Hill.
Maybe because outside of SPW, maybe the Hooney fight's probably the only one that's available.
Dude,
I can't think of anyone else.
If I'm Sonny Bill Williams, I'm scared to take that fight against Gal.
No, you're not. You're fucking Sonny Bill Williams.
No.
Sonny's fought some good quality guys.
Yeah,
That'd be all right. That'd be good to watch.
I think that'd be
Sonny
a good
Bill
fight to
Paul.
watch.
I'd love to see it, but the way that Gal's been performing, and Sonny Bill
Did you see his rig? Like
hasn't been boxing.
Gal trained. Like he
Big
trained.
time, big time. If I'm Sonny Bill, I'm taking that fight for the money, but I'm looking at Gal and the way he's fighting. I'm thinking, ooh, mate, maybe not. Like I've gone full circle on Paul Gallen. Like it's like a few fights ago, like maybe before Mark Hunt, I was like, this is a rugby league player that is trying his hand at boxing. And now after these last two fights, I'm like,
different
this,
category. Yeah. for
This is a
sure.
legitimate boxer that played rugby league.
Yeah, two separate careers now. You can look at it. Hey, yeah.
Yeah. So my final point was going to be if he doesn't want the belt, that kind of rules out Hooney. If he does, and that's got the big card that maybe Sonny Bill's probably there. I wouldn't mind seeing them run their Barry Hall fight back. Like it was a draw. It was like let's have a winner again. Do the AFL versus NRL middle of the season. Maybe around our Origin time, something to do. But I don't know what Gal does from here. From in Australia, big money fights, unless he wants to take on actual professional boxers and move in the heavyweight division. Yeah, he's just got to call out.
No, he's just he won't.
The problem is
break
there's
a
not
belt
enough.
ring.
There's not enough heavyweights like to call out for just those kind of fights. It's a limited amount of people available to do that kind of.
And for the fickle audience like ourselves that like admittedly not day-to-day boxing enthusiasts, but you see a couple big names and you get drawn in.
Yeah, like is it gonna be Papali, Ben Hunt, like Junior Paulo, all those blokes that had the heavyweights that fought on that charity card a couple of months ago?
Mark Hunt, I believe, not Ben Hunt.
You did say Ben Hunt.
What did I say? Joseph, Junior Paulo, Papali,
and Mark Hunt.
Ben Hannett. That's who I was getting at. I was
I knew
just
there
like,
was a Ben.
We got there.
there was a Ben. There was a Ben Hannett. Sorry, Ben Hunt fighting Paul Gallen. Let's do that. That'd be interesting.
To wrap up on this, we got to stop sleeping on Gal. We got to like, and I do it each time. I'm like, man, like, this is a great footy player that's trying to go out there and box legitimate killers, and he just keeps proving us wrong. So I think the sky's the limit for the bloke. He obviously he's 39. He's about 40. He's not going to be a world champion, but he'll keep doing these fun fights, and I think he's going to keep entertaining.
Maybe that's the kind of thing. Instead of being the main event, maybe he gets on that Tim Zissou fight as the co-main.
Yeah.
As something that's like, hey, because that's going to be a massive pay-per-view that he can get involved in that. But, from one bloke that slept another one to a guy that maybe needs more respect, do we want to talk a bit more about Jake Paul knocking out Ben Askren? Similar thing.
Briefly.
Similar kind of situation. First round, Jake Paul, massive right hand, knocks out Ben Askren. Hard to say if Askren trained for this or not. He usually has a dad bod. Didn't look overly good in this. Also, did he take a dive? I don't think so. I don't think he trained too much. I think Masvidal took his soul. So I don't
mentioned last week that his chin was going to be the factor.
Yeah, and
proved it.
Yeah, credit to Jake Paul. He's got some power. He knows how to throw that right hand. Slept Ben Askren. Probably needs now a little bit more credit. Where does he go from here? Who does he kind of take on next? Who knows? There's always that KSI fight hanging over his head of that his brother lost to. Logan, of course, was like stopped doubting him. Does he? There's Carlos Condit, not Carlos Condit. Dylan Danner.
Danis.
Dylan Dennis. I think Connor's best mate. Yeah, there's thrown it out as an option, and
he called him out. He was like, "I need to bury this C-bomb."
Yeah, there's and
Woodley.
Woodley was another one. Tyron Woodley. I think Woodley would murder Jake Paul. No, maybe not. Woodley's chin's not that real great anymore, and he's old. He's getting close to 40. DC was thrown out as well.
Really?
Daniel Cormier.
I think Jake Paul called him out.
Yeah, and DC was like, "I'd murder you. Don't even worry about it." Besides the fact that DC's got probably 40 kilos on him. The other one was the young Fury, who's 4-0 in boxing. He's up and coming with boxing. He's one that's called out that kind of makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Jake, of course, is trying to make fuckloads of money. I think he made $600K in this. Askren made $500K, though he got knocked out. Like him and his wife were kind of celebrating, walking out of the ring and stuff like that. Light work, get paid to get knocked out in 2 minutes. Yeah, not a great look for boxing as a whole. I think the purists not happy with some of these fights that are going down of late, just making a mockery of the sport. Yeah, but hey, Tyson Fury, Anthony Johnson's coming up. I think you'll be right.
Moving into the UFC, we did mention that Robert Whittaker got that win on the weekend. He's called out Israel. Do you think he gets Israel?
Well, he's the number one contender. He's beaten two of the guys kind of coming into that. There's no one else besides him now kind of left in that division. I've had a complete mind blank. Who did he fight? Oh, Kevin Gastelum. Kelvin. I said this last time. It's not Kevin. It's Kelvin.
It's a sneaky L.
Yeah. Kelvin. So he's completely outclassed him. Well, went the 5 rounds, picked him apart. He's beautiful, like left jab, right straight, right head kick. That's the Whittaker combination.
Yeah.
He threw that multiple times. It landed multiple times. Picked Kelvin apart with the jab. It was just so much quicker. Looked perfect, Whittaker. I think
clinic. It was an absolute clinic.
Some extra wrestling from Robert, which is quite interesting to see. So I think he's probably ready for Israel to come in that way. I can't see another fight at middleweight that makes sense for Whittaker. The top 5 guys there.
I think Dana has come out saying that that's the next fight.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And Robert's earned it.
And, Australia and Kiwi, maybe they do something down under, or I don't think, maybe. Yeah,
you love that, yeah?
Hasn't been a UFC.
Not much COVID
New
down
Zealand,
here, Dana, if you're listening. You want to put it on a big event?
Well, they had Ronda's fight here and they got 80,000 80,000 people.
Yeah. Put it on. We'll all be there.
Yep.
Shout out to Dana if you're listening.
Yeah, so reports are that he wants to keep stuff happening in Australia and New Zealand because we are doing so well with COVID. Might as well draw a
You can
crowd.
get full crowds to us. Which I don't think for UFC, are they 261? Are they? No, it's not 261. They're planning full crowds. There's one of the UFC events coming up.
It's coming up. The
very quickly they're going to have a full crowd for it. So that kind of leads into some of the other news. So Amanda Nunes versus Julianne Pena. There's meant to be a little
line.
The little thingy. Yeah, that's why I couldn't say it right.
Close.
It's UFC 265 has been announced. Nunes, hasn't been dodging her at all, but she's been called out a fair bit by Pena. But Nunes is I don't know why we even talk about it. Nunes is going to win this. She's just so much better than everyone else at this point.
Yeah.
The rest of the card, of course, hasn't been built out yet. It's still got a bit more to go.
Yeah.
But the main card we should probably talk about is UFC 261, which is Sunday
this weekend.
for us. So this weekend. Massive fight, like the two fights we haven't got listed there. Weidman's taking on Uriah Hall. I think that fight has been booked multiple times and is actually now finally going to go down. Weidman, of course, I think he's back at middleweight. He went up to light heavyweight. Come back down.
It is. Yep.
Hall kind of been in that middle tier of 10 to 15 for a long time. That's a good fight. But I think Anthony Smith taking our boy Jimmy Crute in the light heavyweight division, that's a huge fight.
Oh, yeah.
Because if Jimmy wins this, that's a massive step up in talent for him, but it's also leading towards his title shot contention, which is where we want to get him to. But then we move. That's two excellent fights to kick off the main card, and then you've got the three title fights.
Three title fights is huge, isn't it?
Yes,
on one card,
and they're chicks fights, but they're amazing chicks fights as well.
Yep.
So you've got the Bullet taking on Andrade. She's usually the co-main.
Yeah, Valentina Shevchenko.
No, she's not the co-main.
So they technically got the third fight of the night, middle of the card.
Not co-main, but it's a championship fight.
Yeah.
So Shevchenko takes on Jessica Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade. Oh, it's actually Andrade, I think is how you say it. Yeah, she comes up Yeah, she's definitely coming up in a division because she was in the same division as Zhang and Rose, who are actually fighting in the co-main.
Yep,
co-main. Yeah, as we mentioned last week, the communism versus patriotism angle. I'm backing. I'm going to go Jimmy Crute, Uriah Hall with an upset. I think Valentino's going to smoke Andrade, but I think Andrade has got great power. But I think Valentino's just so much better than her.
Yep.
Like there's Amanda Nunes, and then Valentino's the only one even remotely close to her. And then everyone else is everyone else.
Yeah.
I think this Rose Zhang fight's going to be interesting because Rose, of course, fought Andrade and lost. She got that slam knocked out. Yeah. So I think Rose is not as powerful as Zhang is, but can I back against the champion versus the former champion? I don't know.
Zhang for mine.
Yeah,
can't see her losing this one.
Do you have any bets there, Marks? Looking in front of you, or you can look it up for me. I think Zhang's probably going to be favourite. Rose, I don't know. She was so dominant in a run up to the title contention before she lost to Andrade and then had to take couple.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Some time off.
It's been a while since that run. So I don't see Zhang losing.
I think UFC wants Zhang to win, of course, pushing get that Chinese market. They'll bill you all. But the main go some odds for me.
So Jimmy Crute, Anthony Smith. Jimmy is the favourite, $1.41.
There you go.
Shorter than I would have expected.
Yeah, Weidman and Hall. Weidman is the favourite, so you're right with the upset. Uriah Hall is paying $2.05.
Yep.
Shevchenko and Andrade. So Shevchenko is heavy favourite at $1.22.
Yeah, expected that.
Yep. Zhang and Rose. So Zhang is the favourite at $1.43, and that does lead into the main event.
Yeah, so the big one, Usman versus Masvidal. Masvidal, of course, after the last fight was short notice. He said to Dana, "Give me 6 weeks, and I can beat that bloke." So he's had his fight camp. He's come into this ready. So it'll be interesting to see how this fight goes down. A lot of people thinking might not be too different. Usman grappled the shit out of him. A lot of clinch work.
Yep.
Kept Masvidal in the cage. Stayed away from all of Masvidal's power. Very interesting to see what he can do game plan wise in this one. But for mine, Usman's still a step ahead of everyone else.
Yep.
Very interesting to see what he. But you can't count out Masvidal. I like Masvidal. I'm going to back Masvidal on this for a big upset.
Oh, really?
By some freaky KO of some description. I think 9 times out of 10 though, Usman wins this fight. So
Yeah, right.
I'm going. It's not going to be a fluky win, but I'm going for that surprise upset, which I'd love to see because that'd make this fight excellent.
I think the bookies tend to agree. Monks, if you don't mind, with the odds there, I think Kamaru is well favoured in this one.
Yeah. So Usman is $1.22 favourite.
Wow, yeah.
Masvidal's out at $4.
If you like a sneaky bet on an upset, throw a tenner on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah, just trying to have a look at. So Masvidal is favourite for first round knockout at $10.
Yep.
Usman's at 15. Just see if there's anything else interesting on here.
Yeah.
So $10. He's $4, but $10 for the first round knockout.
Yeah.
You've got to think if he's going to win, it's got to be an early finish.
I agree. Usman's going to
Yeah.
outwork him, and if he can do his clinch work and keep him, where he wants him, he of course is going to point his way to the win in this. Masvidal is his attacking weapons is the only kind of extra thing he has. I don't think Usman will try and take him down because I think Masvidal's got a black belt in BJJ and, maybe a little bit worried about his jiu-jitsu on the ground. So I think Usman might come into this with a similar game plan to the last one where you'll try to grapple him, control him, impose his size on him because he is a little bit bigger than George is. But it's not hard to beat. Like Usman should be clear favourite. He has been so dominant. I'm just going the upset because I wouldn't mind seeing Masvidal win this because Dana's also come out during the week and said Kobe Covington will get the winner of this fight.
The bad boy.
Yeah, so he'll either run it back with Usman or he'll get, the 2-piece in a soda from Masvidal. And that Masvidal versus Kobe press conferences leading into that will be beautiful.